Welcome to today's reading. We are going to be looking at a particular connection that could be affecting your life right now, because when I grabbed the deck this morning, it said, do that. I said, all right, okay? Because not often do I do like relationship readings, but here we have a particular relationship that has moved to the forefront because you're clearly ready to look at it, all right? So I have some cards out here in the bottom of the deck. Let's go ahead and get started with crafting this narrative from the energies I'm observing right now. So we start off with the Moon and the Four of Wands. So this is the energy that can be influencing you right now, even if just up here. Now the Moon, if we care about star signs, okay, it could be referenced to Pisces. Some people reference Cancerian energy. Any water sign, right? Sure. And then we have the Four of Wands that can be in reference to Aries, okay? That Aries energy. And I feel like regardless of the star signs, there is a very, very powerful identity associated with imprisonment. Okay? Because you have complete, like unadulterated, unbridled freedom. This is the experience of infinity, like right here. And then you have the Four of Wands here. And in this deck, it does look like this is a very solid foundation, but it's like the walls, you could fill them in yourself. Also take note of the glass ceiling. Now I noticed that throughout most of my tarot reading journey, my audience has been predominantly women. So I'm going to continue to talk about topics that come up that are for women, okay? But it's also in reference to feminine energy. When I mention glass ceiling, you know what I mean. This person, this may have been a very big energy. I wonder if this individual allowed themselves to pursue their dreams. I'm getting a strong sense of expectation here because you see the moon and the phases of the moon, and even that secrecy that can come with the moon, but also lunacy. The lunacy of having to keep something secret? Or is it I'm gonna phrase it like this. The repression of knowing that you're only allowed to be visible within certain parameters, within certain identities. For instance, like maiden, mother, and crone. And for me to bring that up too, I wonder if psychic abilities, craft, investigating of the occult, maybe even learning more about culture by way of spiritual practice. There's something regarding this person's faith that maybe felt a bit limited, or maybe they secretly practiced, excuse me, something else where I feel like this person was often like not wanting to be here. Now, here's another way that that can come off as a reference, because I mentioned like lunacy, and now we can kind of dig into mental health. I don't know if the individual was actually unstable, but I get a strong feeling that the environment encouraged them to feel that way. And I wonder if they had visitations with, you know, rehabilitation services. This could also be talking about, I mean, Piscean energy is very open, very free, very experimental. So I wonder if this could be talking about something like if this is in reference to a pill, like medication, that kept them grounded enough and imprisoned, I'm using that term, enough to be available in the ways that they were only allowed to be available. Maybe this person only felt these two things are important to me. Either I'm this or I'm this. I wonder if this is also talking about codependency. Because I heard like, I can't be single versus like, this relationship isn't good for me, but at least I'm in one. Or I'd rather stay in this connection because it gives me access to something. But in exchange for that, I have to sacrifice like my freedom. And there's like, I feel like this person spent a lot of time contemplating like their imprisonment or lack of freedom, if I phrase it like that, but also where they wish they were. This is beyond just being a daydreamer. There's some sense of lamenting that's around this, a heaviness, a sadness that kind of comes with this story. I wish, because before this moon was the star, and the star does embody this very individualistic power. So I wonder if this splitting, speaking of splitting, like BPD, so this could be talking about like personality disorders, but the splitting that I'm seeing here, splitting of self, this could be like the effects of motherhood, the effects of parenthood, and how that kind of anchors us down and prevents us from being able to achieve something. I've been mentioning that as well. But this could be somebody who we know, whether they are still with us physically or not, who I feel their story is influencing you to this day. Now, I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. I just think this person in their life, what they're going through, the trajectory of their life is on your mind. And you might be deciding, do I want this or not? Did they choose themselves or not? Is this do I want to recreate this? Because this Four of Wands, it's a marker of success. It's something to celebrate. It's a milestone. It's goals. It's the ability to function within society's parameters. But you see what it is? Four of Wands is just giving me functional enough. And especially when it comes to mental health and maybe even like forms of sedation. Like certain like drug abuse. And if we're looking at, well, here we go, a reference to time. If you want to know what's at the bottom of the deck, we have the Six of Cups. I talked about parenthood already because children are a strong reference here, but childhood and dreams as well. But also potentially, this could be talking about a time period. You could be focused on, like, say that you're a historian, right? Or you were just learning more about the environment. You could be learning more about what a time period was actually like the 1950s. Was it actually all, we have a nostalgia for something, right? Maybe the community that came with it. But what was really going on? And I think a lot of you are discovering, but I'm going to say it like this, through listening to women. Listening to women is actually unveiling what the households were really like. What was really going on in here? It's removing the walls from the dollhouse. This being at the bottom of the deck helps support the idea of kind of wanting to go back to a time because there were certain factors. Maybe there are certain key features of that time. This could even be you referencing like the childhood that you had. And maybe this is something that keeps happening in your lineage because we might have a strong story of poverty, potential mental illness, okay, potential disorders, sicknesses that maybe promote limiting how far we can go. And if we grew up seeing the limitation, right? But when we also hear things like we want to go back to a time where it was like this, or maybe when women were like this, and we could be learning more. We could be learning more about our history. In fact, what's underneath this? The Hermit. This is a hermitage of sorts for a lot of you. Because here it is. When I said that I wanted to get cards on that person's energy and then ways that we can resolve this, the energy's coming, so I'm going to move right into it. The way that we can move through this energy is Four of Swords. Not move through, but like move through and work with, okay? And then the Six of Wands. You have no choice but to be successful with this if you spend time contemplating on this. But these two right here, that Hermit coming underneath that, hold on, let me say it. A lot of you don't remember your childhoods. There's a lot that's coming up here, okay? It's starting to feel like pressure around here. So I wonder if this is a little bit like for some of you, but a lot of you don't remember your childhoods at all. This is parentification to a T for a lot of you. If you don't know what that is basically you didn't get to be a child because you were too busy taking care of other people. I wonder if it was this person or people like this. In fact, in order to survive, I think a lot of you had to, there it is, in order to survive. That's the answer. That's why you don't remember. Survival. And I wonder, like, I'm looking at these walls in here, and then I want to activate the Four of Wands. This Virgo energy, now the perfectionist is like really loud with this card. It's like, I'm trying to make sure, like, the image, this like visibility image, I think you spend a lot of your time trying to understand what was going on within, but at the same time, how many memories do you really have that are within the boundaries of where you called home? In fact, the Hermit can talk about the body. This is a home too. Some of you are choosing like not to let anybody in because of what you saw here. It's like I can choose to be a person or I can choose to be a space. And it feels like maybe with the moon, those were my only two options, according to this person, according to this person's experience. When you choose to remember, and it doesn't, you don't need, I'm not saying, okay, oof, I can define these energies. It's saying don't be afraid to rest. That's where your success is. You're so used to pushing. Not, and I mind you, I can't be like, this person was bad. That's not at all what I'm saying. It's just, this person, I feel like they almost had to do this to survive, according to them. And you witness how they weren't really allowed to rest. In fact, actually, those of you who identify with, identify as women and expectations, and I'm sure even from childhood, like, when women are resting, doesn't it seem threatening? A lot of people find it threatening when women are resting, relaxed, having a good time, not doing anything. And whether you identify as a woman or not, the whole not doing anything, I know a lot of you are scared of that. But this is going to be the key to healing the past. Here's our healer right here, our Virgo energy. That's very hyper-focused on healing. But you even see how they're looking around their environment. It's like they're looking for someone to help. But only you know if you're in a place to where you can actually supplement for other people, or if you really need to triple down on helping yourself first. Are you in the position of authority to actually serve other people just yet? I think, listen, let me put it this way, because now let me share something personal. I had this trouble myself, because I've been doing this since 2017, tarot reading. While I felt very, very good and I could open myself as a channel, my confidence was lacking. And there was always a part of me that felt like I don't have the authority to be advising people on what to do, simply because I didn't realize it. I didn't know how to advise myself. I didn't know how to acknowledge my own voice. I didn't know how to really show up and say, this is who I am. But I knew how to serve since I was a child. And keep in mind, I'm a Virgo sun. Okay? I know these readings also reference to me too, because we're reflections. So I understand how personally this can reflect for me. I also understand how all of this reflects for me on a personal level. But with that being said, I feel like if we're talking about trying to be brave enough to show up as just yourself, we do have to reconcile with stepping away from this pathway. This can be the vibration of doubt, debating, constantly being unsure, so perpetual insecurity. Yet so much creative power is here. So much. And in fact, when you don't get to use that, sometimes that can cause shame because you feel like there's something wrong with you. You can't express it. You don't know how your body works. You don't know how anything works anymore. So it's kind of like we check out, or we feel like we lose our minds. This is not a condemnation of whoever, or if this is a demographic of people, a certain group of people, an organization, a community. If you know exactly what this energy is to you, this is not condemning it. In fact, you come from it. I'm gonna say that confidently. You come from it. Hello, it's more water. You come from that. So there's no reason to condemn it. But if you need to get closer to yourself, which I feel like many of you do, is because you need to create. I'm going to keep saying this. I know you need to create. That's why I know you need to get closer to you. If you don't remember your childhood, it's okay. If you can't put your hand here, it's okay that you don't remember your childhood. You were surviving. And so were people around you. And then when you start from that understanding, you understand why rest is so important for you to be the integral, authentic creator of your life. Why? Because rest is creation. Resting from this story, resting from the identities, resting from the external expectations that will never end and will go on when you die. Rest is how you create, because it's getting out of the way. And what you find in these restful spaces, those are the keys to your success. Why? Because when you lock onto it, no matter how intense it feels, you found it. You found you. You found more of you. That's success. You see, you don't need other people around you to validate that. That is this Six of Wands. I love this because it's also Leo energy. What's their organ? The heart. This is the heart opening, the heart expansion, the heart coherence with the mind and heart coherence. Right there. This is Libra. Libra wants to balance out these relationships. So in order for you to do that, you have got to rest more, which means you can't be afraid of what comes up within you. Which means you also have to choose to be brave when people say, why aren't you doing enough? You're always doing something, because if you're creating, you're always recreating your experience. There's not more for you to do. You don't need any more validation. You know that now, and a lot of you are still working on how to confirm that. Keep practicing. Keep getting in the field. Keep ignoring what you used to think needed to validate you. And there are safe ways to navigate and to get this new skill down. You can do it. But the number one thing that you'll have to do is learn how to rest. Rest your mind, rest your body, so that you can always hear, so that pathway, that flow, that highway is always connected. Is this really what I want? No? Okay. And the more you confirm within yourself, the more you will understand why this can happen when you don't get to have time to yourself, when you don't get to rest. when you're not allowed to, or your identity is to never have an easy mind. Or if your mind is easy, it's by way of somebody else. The identity of always belonging to somebody else. Versus, I belong to me. Because I can find me all the time. And I'm willing to look into my past. I'm willing to remember parts of my childhood or my youth when it's appropriate. If it's coming up for me, it's for me, not against me. You are not weak. You are not dumb. Because you don't have to be those things in order to learn. We are constantly going back and forth between teacher and student. When I stop recording this, I'm going right back to being a student. But right now, I'm choosing the position of a teacher because I'm ready. And I'm being called to do it. I get these impulses, these intuitive hits, and I just go for it. Just like today, I didn't know I was going to be focusing on maybe a particular person's energy around you. But I don't get in the way. The only reason why I know how to do that so well is because I rest. Let me tell you what the results of resting can look like. Yeah, you're going to have to let go of some people. Yes, as you are spending more time opening the pathway into understanding why you have certain habits and building on understanding more of yourself, solitude is absolutely going to be a part of that. Doesn't mean that you're going to be abandoned, but it also could mean that you will have to walk away or abandon certain situations or people. And one of the things that I want to point out, it may be small, but subtle. I know people view a lot of this on me as a woman who navigates alone. I just have my pets. I'm in my very peaceful life right now. I know the pressures that come with this personally, and I don't care anymore. So you know why I'm saying this? Because no matter who walks into my home, they always, and they linger through conversation or through idling. I have a stunning view right now. But I know it's because of the energy I invest into this home, because my mind is not always racing. My mind is not always performing to fit the identity of somebody else. I took the time, and it was scary a little bit, to understand why. I also had a hard time remembering a childhood, right? Trauma is interesting. Trauma is an ultimate, block in the road. It convinces you that you have to stay there with it, and you really don't, right? But I embody peace now on purpose every day. I recreate a peaceful every day as much as I can, right? And I always witness it. When people have to come to my home, it's mainly right now, it's maintenance. It's always, wow. There's that moment of wow. And I take pride in that. I take pride in that. That's how the results of what I've done to make sure that I don't constantly identify with what someone else wants. That's the result of it. That's one result. Do days go up and yes, but it's your job to notice when you are riding either wave. I'm super happy, I'm super sad. You don't have to ride either one. You can stay above it. You can just choose, I'm going to be confident regardless. I'm going to be confident regardless of what's going on. When it's time to contemplate, I'm going to rest on it. I'm going to take my time. I'm going to slow down. And I'm going to take my time. I'm going to slow down. And I'm going to take my time. It's that slow moving earth. And if you've ever heard my readings in the past, I always say, the best way to observe your environment is to stop. If you're like the Knight of Swords, you don't really see what's around you because you're moving too fast. It's a blur. But your environment is super important. Your environment reflects what's going on up here and in here. Your environment is in your command. This is an option now. Now it's an option. And if you want to have a path or a life that looks different or that deviates from this, not because of shame, but simply because you know it's not what you want, choose you over and over and over, because that's, if I may say, that's why you're here, to be happy. Because this is a land of choices. When we're sad, we see what happens, okay? And listen, it's not hard to go out there and find a professional hater, okay? It's not hard to go out there and befriend, marry professional haters. And then sometimes we find out later that's who they are. It's all right. That contrast was for you. Everything is for you. In this space that I create for, everything is for you. So rest. What comes up will come up for you in the right time, because you're ready to see it. You are strong. You are capable. You are the best at what you do, which is knowing yourself. And you are infinite. This boundary we call our bodies in this reality, it's for us to play in. That's why you noticed the unnatural aspects of whatever this is for you. Unnatural aspects. Or, there's another way to put it before I wrap this up. What does naturally happen, like cycles? Or if you don't have a problem with the maiden, the mother, and the crone. Look, yeah, that's those are phases a woman may be able to go through, right? But then kind of redefining it, re-embodying, reclaiming it, reclaiming it. And if femininity is really important to you, the ultimate way to reclaim femininity is to rest. I'm serious. The ultimate way to reclaim it is to rest. Do less. Some of you are trying to explore what it's like to be a woman. Do less. I promise you it works, okay? So with that being said, I'm going to end the reading here today. I intend that this was helpful. I intend that you feel seen, and that whoever this is, this influence is in your life, that you're able to, I guess, you reclaim your relationship with them in a way that you can work with, in a way that doesn't make you afraid to feel restful, in a way that doesn't make you feel afraid to become them or to even not become them. To balance out what's going on in the mind and to not be fearful of what's coming up, and to continue to hold on to your ability to acknowledge it, fight it off. But I feel like when the swords are down like this, it's the ability to tell a story. The story of success is also within your body. So allow that to come out, okay? Allow that to come out. Allow yourself to be that space for yourself. And maybe you used to feel like that. Or maybe you always wanted to feel like that, but now is the time to do it, okay? So I love you very much. I appreciate your time. As always, please do your best to keep the faith. Leave your comments. Always appreciate it. If you're not following, please do, so that you can get more readings from me. And I look forward to channeling for you next time.